Hey guys, in this episode, this is a really cool moment. My wife and I were over Valentine's Day, got onto the media, a few different places actually, on TV, on radio, and even some articles written about us and regarding Valentine's Day, because at the end of the day, it's people are trying to give gifts, and everyone kind of knows me as a gift guy, and I just really am excited for you guys to listen, because the message is we don't need more time together. We don't need more gifts. We need more connection. Every single one of you would trade 5 minutes of intense love connection for an hour sitting in the room together with your partner. Because time is what we think is going to create connection, but that is not real. Listen to this interview. This is a radio show that we were on. I wanted to put it on the podcast. I do break down and I do cry a bit on live radio. It got real for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy.
Well, this Sunday is Valentine's Day, and I know a lot of you out there don't like Valentine's Day. A lot of you say, I don't need one day to show my love for the person who I adore. I show it to them every day. The question here is, do you really? Does it happen every day, or does it slide by the wayside as life gets in the way? Our next guests were about to split up a few years ago. Renae Oosterveld was set to leave her husband, Ben. He was so focused on his real estate career, which was doing incredibly well, but he'd really forgotten about his family. When Renae told Ben she was about to leave, he made an instant pivot and made sure to invest meaningful time and connection to the marriage. Well, the two are still together. That's great news. And not only does that communication and connection play a role in their personal life, but business as well. Ben continues in real estate. He also coaches others and is the host of the From the Within podcast with some tips on keeping that fire burning and communication, connection ahead of Valentine's Day. We're joined by Ben and Renae. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice to be here.
Really good. Let's go back in time a little bit. Renae, you're very upfront with saying, hey, you know what, I was ready to leave Ben. He just wasn't there. He wasn't present. Take us back to that day that you told him that, hey, you know what, I'm on my way out the door.
Yeah, I guess, you know what, I think we had 3 kids at the time. We have 5 now. And I think it was when we had 3 kids and Ben was out there doing real estate and doing good and making money. And every time he'd say, hey, I'm doing this for the family. And and he's out there making people happy and giving them, like, just being there for them. And, but then when he was at home, he just wasn't there, like, connected. Mm-hmm. And so many years we just, followed him around and chased him around. And it was just, I don't know. It was just, he wasn't there. And I was done, because it was like, I just needed someone who heard us and who was there. Yeah.
So Ben, do you remember that day well?
I do remember that day. I remember it. I remember coming home and we're making more money than we've ever made. In my head, I'm like, yeah, we're doing good. And so many times Renae tried to talk to me, and I look back now and I'm like, oh, wow, did I really miss it? And I really was a good guy, and I really was trying to do things for my family. It wasn't like I was honestly ignoring this thing that I wanted so bad, which was my family. But I needed something in my life to have this shot of honesty, I think, to listen. I was just so A-type and just shooting for all the awards and winning everything. I got a mission, going to be the best of the best. And I missed connection, but I didn't know what connection was. If you would have said, like, at the times where it's like, you don't hear me. Like, this is a normal thing in relationships. Like, you don't hear me. I'm like, I heard you say, you don't hear me. So I'm like, I know exactly what you're saying. And it's like, it was insanity, because I just wanted to understand what that meant, and this process has really helped us get clear on what that means.
So Ben, you said that you did an immediate pivot, and when you start talking about listening and about connection, how did you go about learning what true connection is and what it meant inside the world of your relationship? Because it sounds like you had it, in the business community with your clients, but what about in your personal world?
Like in business, you kind of have these lists. Like I teach a lot of real estate agents to blow the client's mind to the point where they refer you, take care of them, put in the right systems. But that model doesn't work at home because that's a business model where I'm like, yep, I'm a great dad. Yep, took my daughters on dates. Yep, I took my wife on dates. And I actually on paper would look pretty good. I was a great guy on Facebook and Instagram. I was doing all the right things. But the secret sauce was missing. And if I can just share something, I remember laying on the floor that night, sitting there. I remember there's a back door. I just collapsed on the floor, and I just remember crying. Sorry, I was not ready to feel emotion. Sorry, guys. Actually, I'm not really sorry, to be honest. But here's the thing. I remember sitting there. And I realized I had screwed up really bad.
Yeah.
And I realized I missed it. And here's the thing. I when I was 18 years old, I graduated a 365-day rehab center. I spent a year. I had a brutal childhood. And everything came back to me at that moment like a flash. And it was like I remember leaving and graduating that rehab center. And I said, if I could just have a wife that loves me and kids that run to me, I feel like I'd already won the game.
Then you would have it all, and
I had it all.
And then you had it all, but your wife's telling you, hey, you don't have it all.
That's right.
So that connection, we talk about that connection. So how do you find that connection, Renae?
Okay.
How did you watch your husband do that?
Well, he did. He wanted me. He wanted the kids, and it was him just understanding what connection is. When you grow up and your life is kind of screwed up and you're living on the streets, or you had a terrible childhood, or you know what, coming together, you're bringing two completely different lives together, and you have to try and make it work and figure it out in between you. So the connection is having real conversations. Like, man, so many times we don't have real conversations with each other. And when we do, and even if it's painful, finding out what the other person needs, well, you can turn your life completely around and have such an amazing relationship. So I guess
Yeah, Ben, I'm guessing that this day and age with TVs, computers, iPhones, all that sort of stuff, connection is even more difficult.
So here's, on that note, here's the thing, Kay. I don't have a problem with anything of that. I don't mind social media. I don't mind being on the phone. I don't mind any of that. I think we demonize it way too much. I think at the end of the day, we focus so much on trying to give romance or trying to give each other time, and we're misunderstood on what we need. Do you know what we need? We need someone to get me. If you think about how many people actually get you, you're probably like 2 to 3 people in your whole life get you. This is the goal, not romance, not a special gift, even though that's really fun, but it's empty. As you can see, I was romancing Renae. I was doing the right things, but I did not get her. And that's what had to happen.
He was also doing it to make himself feel good when it wasn't exactly what I wanted.
Yeah,
and the thing is, even when you're not, like, even if Ben and I got into a fight, hey, we played video games just to kind of get that aggression out and get over it and compete, and then we could talk about anything we wanted to. So being on video games or just having a conversation, like, it works. But yeah, anyway.
Okay, but then again, you go back to getting you, and I think getting you maybe goes back to listening and really listening and remembering things from years ago and applying them, down the road. Maybe just what does I've asked you about what does connection mean, but getting you. What does you mean?
So I'll give you. Can I tell a story, and I'll give you an example. So, thinking of Valentine's Day right now, we're all sitting there. We're locked in cages at home. We're thinking, what the heck can we do? Guess what? Dinner and a movie is not an option. So this is kind of cool. It's a really cool time because obviously that's nice, but it almost lets us off the hook. We did our job. So here's the thing. I remember my wife telling me a story about the Stretch Armstrong doll. She said her siblings stretched that thing so far as a kid that it snapped and their arm got ripped off. And I remember her bringing that up over the last 19 years of being married a few times. couple Christmases ago, I was at a board game store in Edmonton, and I saw it on the shelf. I saw, holy smokes, it's an original Stretch Armstrong doll. It was like $300. I'm like, I'm getting it. So I wrapped it up, put a bow on it, and at Christmas, she opened up a Stretch Armstrong doll.
Love it.
And so, Renae could tell you, but it was just like all of this emotion, like, wow, he gets me, because it was extreme thoughtfulness is the kind of a practical way. Extreme, not just that's thoughtful, but really taking that time to understand. Now, the funny thing was, we opened it up. It was more like a concrete doll because it was totally 100 years old and it didn't work, but that proved that it wasn't about the gift. It was actually junk. We ended up throwing it out. And it's like, it wasn't about the gift.
It was the thought. It was the absolute
and
thought.
I got her.
Yeah, Renae, when you opened that up, it was probably just a wow moment for you.
Well, you almost cry because, like, he hears me. He understands me.
Yeah.
He's heard all of my past stuff, and now he's trying to recreate it and make it feel great. And it's bringing all of these experiences of, gratefulness and happiness in your life, and having your spouse or, someone who loves you just say, hey, I think about you. I love you so much that I want to show you love this way. It could be Ben. Like, I go away on trips and Ben will shove my suitcase all different places with notes telling me how much I mean to him or love him or like, yeah. So there's so many ways to connect and just show that how much you love someone.
Absolutely. Ben, Renae, hold the line for just a second because I'm not done with you just yet. Ben and Renae Oosterveld joining us this afternoon. Ben is a human development coach. He's a keynote speaker. He's a real estate agent by trade. He's the host of From Within podcast, but really talking and trying to teach people. And it could be business clients. It could be people in the business community, but also in relationships about connection and about making those relationships work. When we invited Ben and Renae on the show, we knew it was going into Valentine's Day. So we also wanted a list of ideas, of some really great ideas when it comes to gifts for Valentine's Day. You might think, oh, roses, chocolate, something like that. How about something a little different? Okay, we are talking with Ben and Renae Oosterveld joining us here this afternoon, talking about how they saved their marriage and really lit a fire after a really tough time, and now moving forward and helping others with some ideas, some thoughts, some advice, some coaching, that sort of thing. Ben and Renae, I think when it comes to Valentine's Day, I think there's a lot of pressure on the guys to get it right, but I really think that it goes both ways all the time. It just can't be one partner doing it all. Your thoughts on that, Ben?
You know what? I'm going to pass that to Renae. I think she's got something to say on that.
I thought you could go ahead, but anyway, it is very true. I feel like just because, like, I feel bad for the guys. I'm like, why is so much pressure on them all the time? Like, this is about love, isn't it? This is about showing love to each other and not just the women receiving. So why can't men receive too and feel the love? I'm like, so I can say, well, I guess connection for me, like, I know Ben well enough that I know he loves getting away. Like, anytime he's got the chance to get away or, look for tickets, he's on there. He's saying, where can we go now? So one weekend, just for the fun of it, or no, actually, it was his birthday. But you can do this anytime. It doesn't even matter. It was like I just took out the seats in the minivan and threw a mattress back there and told him when he came home, I said, we're out of here. I got someone to watch the kids. And
it was so awesome.
We went to Jasper and we loaded up the thing with wood and some stuff. And we went and I don't know. We slept in a parking lot one night.
I know what you did.
And somewhere another night. But just to connect, we went to a beach one day and lifted up the back hood and just sat there on our mattress and went fishing together. And I'm just like, just to connect for whatever, 2 days. Just to show how much you love each other. Like, so great. It was so fun. And to make the memories like that again, like, just create memories throughout your life. Don't stop just because you have kids or life is so busy. Make it happen.
The thing is, too, is that is that if some people want to replicate other people's romance or replicate other people's stories, but that's my story. That's what I wanted. And I think we forget, we're like, oh, that worked. I'm going to do that with my husband. Well, what if he doesn't like to sleep in the back of a minivan? That's probably a pretty low odds. They might want a hotel. I think we lose track and we try to copy and replicate versus really invest the time to figure it out.
Ben and Renae, before I let you go, and Renae, my friend, our mutual friend, Helen, just texted and said to say hi to you.
So cool.
Just wanted to, okay, when it comes to choosing the right Valentine's Day gift, and we don't have a whole lot of time here, Ben, you gave me a list of some really, really great ideas. Maybe you can go through those in the next 90 seconds, just to, get away from maybe. And hey, if you love flowers, go get the flowers. But here's some other really cool ideas as well, okay?
So first of all, I'm very creative, so I understand that people aren't always creative. So first of all, if you don't know what to give them, and you're like, what the heck do I do? Go all in on the delivery of the gift. That's the biggest thing right now. Get a gigantic box, wrap it up, put a bow, and a stupid gift card. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a rock that says I love you. It doesn't matter, but the delivery has to be dramatic. And it's going to be like, oh, you're not going to believe what he did. You're trying to get that reaction. And the thing is, so first of all, the delivery, 12 roses in 12 days. Think about the delivery. It might not be the gift, but if you want it, you got to think back to what they like. Even old like hockey cards for guys are huge. You get a 1989 pack of hockey cards that's worth $200. That'll blow a guy's mind, but you got to think maybe back from their childhood. But the delivery, I think, for the practical and the time we have here, we could go ideas all day. Set up a tent and roast marshmallows on your stove, whatever you want to do. But I think really create the drama of delivery would be the best thing someone could take right now without knowing everybody, obviously.
Yeah, you know what? My husband did 50 Days to 50 for my 50th birthday.
Nice.
I got a love note and a little gift every morning for 50 days leading up to my 50th birthday. It was pretty amazing. And I'm lucky. I'm married to Mr. Romance, and I talk about it quite often. But one of the things he's always said, if you're inspired, you'll find a way. And I love the idea when you talk about something that they miss from the past or something that they've talked about a lot in the past, and then, somehow bring that back. You gave us a lot of really great ideas this afternoon, Ben and Renae, a lot to think about. Ben, if people want to find out more and listen to, check out your podcast maybe, where do they find that?
Yeah. Well, you can go to benosterveld.com, and I've got everything there. My Instagram handle is also Ben Osterveld, and Facebook's Ben Osterveld, but benosterveld.com will lead you to the podcast, coaching, all kinds of stuff.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for joining me, Ben and Renae, and make sure you listen to Helen at the gym because she'll you'll get in big trouble otherwise. I found out that the hard way. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
All right, a couple more texts coming in. Says we spend a lot of time and effort establishing new relationships. If the one you are isn't working, imagine if you took the time and effort to reinvest in your existing relationship. It probably wouldn't end. And then some Westside Matt says, and I love this, I got married 14 months ago. Before my wife and I tied the knot, we went to a non-faith-based marriage prep. Two biggest takeaways that will always stay with me are, number one, a committed relationship needs trust and respect among the two people, and communication is key. Even if there are disagreements, you have to talk about it. Westside Matt says married life has been a bliss. And Matt, I hope it stays that way for you.